Using Kingli at the moment, what is the maximum number of characters that you must type in order to send a meaningful amount of financial resource with a meaningful resolution of the amount to anyone who has a Kingli account? Let's think about this. Because the command sending financial resources is either give or send. So if the only thing that you must do, if you are in a hurry, if your keystrokes are the limit of this operation, then you must always send GLI by using send, because then you don't need to specify what you are sending. So you save a few keystrokes. So you write send space and then the amount. So we are talking about meaningful resolution here, and that's why it's possible not only to numerically specify the amount, but you can shorten it so that K shortens 3 zeros, M shortens 6 zeros. Obviously B would shorten 9 zeros, but usually when you're sending a billion GLI to somebody, you are not in such a hurry that you couldn't type just 1000 M. Right. I mean, typically people plan these things in advance, and when they execute them, they have that extra split second to do it. You know, your hand is not shaking, right? I hope so. Because, like, if you're sending a meaningful amount, the maximum number of characters to specify that amount is how many?
Maximum. I wouldn't know, sir.
Of course you do, because like levels are spaced on meaningful differences, and levels are expressed in 2 digits. So if we want it, and we do, but not just now because we are not that busy yet in typing the commands, but we could use the same coding as we have with levels to specify monetary amounts, because obviously like level 70 equals 1 million. Level 80 equals 10 million. So if you would specify the monetary amount using the same coding as we have in levels, it is just like it is just a logarithm of the amount, like parsed in a certain way. So to send this meaningful amount of money to someone, like the spacing of 2 meaningful amounts has been chosen by me to be 25%. That is a meaningful difference. 10% is not a meaningful difference in Spec Ops or Kingdom in general. And if you want something to double, then you feel that something is missing in between. Like if I would say that you either get €100 or €200, but occasionally it might make sense to give you 150 instead, right? But if you say, give me 120, if I give you 100, it's a bit too little. You asked for 120, you had a reason for doing it. If I give you 150, obviously it's not a big deal, but at the same time, you have the energetic feeling that 150 is more than 120, and you kind of are expected to give me money back. But if I would give you 125, you would just accept it. It wouldn't generate anything. So if I had a banknote of 125 GLI or euros, and you would ask for 120, I would give you 125. You would accept it without questions. So this is the idea like behind the PG scale. Originally the word comes from pay grade, but you can use it for any amount because the scale is basically a logarithmic representation of an amount, a magnitude. So the PG, let's take 40, it equals 1000. So level 40 equals 1000 valta. Level 41 equals what? It equals 1250. It takes time to read this number aloud because it is kind of unintuitive. Why is suddenly so specific number? In decimal representation it uses 3 significant numbers, whereas 1000 only has 1 significant number. But the reason is that it is 25% different from 1000, because the next one, level or PG 42, is 1600, and that is 25% more than 1250. And the next one is important because a pay grade 43 equals 2000. So 43 is 2000, 40 is 1000. So it's always 3 PGs that it takes for the quantity to double. If you start from PG 41, that was 1250. You have to parse the number in your head. You see it in front of you, 1250. And then you raise 3 levels, go to 44. It's the same thing as doubling it. It is 2500. So actually, the reason that you have this like seemingly kind of odd figure 125 there, it is not that it is a meaningful multiple of anything, but it is a meaningful, when you divide something, you divide it into half first. So a half of 1000 is 500. Then the meaningful reason for 250 to be there is that it is a half of half. In Europe they use 20 cents as a coin, but in the US they use a quarter, because 20 cents is like additive. It is 2 times 10. But a quarter is divisive. It is 1/2 of 1/2. And that's the reason.